Welcome to Moving Forward with Uponor. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Marcus.
And we're here every Thursday to talk to you about all things Uponor, including plumbing, mechanical, and industry. So today's topic is something really cool. We're talking about VDC. So what is VDC?
Well, first of all, VDC stands for Virtual Design and Construction. It's the ability of creating digital models of buildings or in projects, and that really allows you to visualize the project, how the building is going to be erected from the site work all the way even to the finished work. It's going to provide a schedule, so at both an architectural, an owner level, user level, really providing that 3D virtual review of a project that's going to break ground.
Right, and the big benefit of it is you're doing all of this in a digital environment before you even break ground on a project, right? So the benefit there, like Marcus said, is you're able to essentially kind of flush out all the problems that could arise before you even break ground on a project. So whether it's things like coordination, right, different site work items, to the point where you got to, like where you could actually do scheduling and budgeting from virtual models.
That's right. I think it's important that we talk about this and touch a little bit on some growing trends there because it can be overwhelming. Right. So with the whole VDC concept that's going on in the marketplace, from owner requirements to architectural, all the way down to the MEP trades, it's a lot to digest here. And there's a lot to reference and to learn about and think about. As this concept of VDC grows, how can Uponor be there to partner with the contractor, help navigate through the execution, through the planning, through the coordination of projects.
Right. So what Marcus is getting to is depending upon kind of maybe the size of your business, right? There's obviously a lot to digest with everything going on, from hardware, software, technology, all that kind of stuff. And sometimes it can be a bit overwhelming in terms of what you're going to choose to invest in, and the kind of type of the work that you want to go after, right? So like, for example, if you're a small firm but want to go after healthcare work, we're seeing a lot of healthcare work requiring virtual design or BIM and coordination. So now you have to think about what kind of investments that can require for me potentially as a contractor to be able to do that kind of work. And one of the other cool things, so Uponor is a proud supplier manufacturer member with MCAA. And one of the things we're going to reference here is a technology report that they do every year with JB Knowledge. And one of the last reports, I think was for 2020 now, was the latest one. And they talk about some of the growing trends with hardware and software. And one of the big things they've seen in 2020 was growth in 3D scanners, so a scanner like we have back here in this Faro, Tiger stops, so automated saws, and then total robotic stations for like point stations.
And that's right, and kind of summing those three up, a lot of that just comes down to productivity opportunity. With the total stations, it's getting on site, shooting elevations, shooting sleeves before a deck's poured. With the 3D scanners, like you see behind us, beeping at us, it could be an as-built situation, or if you have some older infrastructure at a university, the ability to go down, scan, generate a 3D model of an aging infrastructure as an as-built situation really provides the customer, the owner, that opportunity to have that documentation, to be able to use that and build off new spools or opportunity to replace that aging pipe.
Right, and it's not like we're saying that if you're out there still pulling tape, right, to mark locations for hangers or for pipe penetration sleeves, it's not that that's wrong. It's just that, in an age of where you're starting to see things be more productive and these softwares and hardwares make people more productive, things like robotic stations and scanners are definitely helping people do that.
So that's exactly right. So what we're also seeing too is a lot of BIM requirements come out in the bidding documents for your project. So it'll be laid out specifically for coordination items. There'll be maybe a call out for the architectural. There'll be a call out maybe for some finishes, but we are seeing an increased requirement in the market for coordination in the MEP for the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing trades to provide that coordination for the project.
Yeah, and back to that report too, we're starting to see, it's being called out quite a bit, that the sub-trades are actually leading a lot of that, like Marcus is alluding to. So even if you have it in the contract documents, it's almost like it's kind of being assumed that some of the sub-trades are actually leading that coordination effort.
So that's exactly right. So we're seeing that requirement at the contract documents in the bidding stage where BIM is going to be required.
Right. And obviously in North America, it's a little bit different than Europe. Europe has some BIM standards and requirements. North America is a little bit slower to adopt that, right? So there's still a lot of moving parts. But like Marcus said, we are seeing BIM, the usage and requirement of BIM increase a lot on projects. And it even comes down to like project types. So like we mentioned healthcare, for example, a lot of healthcare projects, because of all the different systems on there, right? Med gas, plumbing, all that kind of stuff, a lot of coordination, and it just makes sense to get that stuff all out of the way through a virtual model before you'd even break ground. Correct. And one of the other things too, so we see BIM growing, right? The problem is that there are still a lot of contractors that will not even bid work that has a BIM requirement.
Right, so part of that, same research study that through the MCA group is they found out that 29% of contractors are not bidding coordination or VDC, projects that have VDC requirements on it. So I believe that's the third year in a row they're hearing contractors not bidding that work because either the technology, the learning curve could be overwhelming, or they don't think they can compete at that level.
Right, so a lot of different reasons why contractors may not want to invest in that, right? Like Marcus said, there's IT requirements, there's training. It can be a bit overwhelming. So really, what we're kind of getting to is the fact that Uponor can take a lot of that weight off of you. So if you are a contractor that wants to bid work that has BIM requirements or VDC requirements, and you don't want to necessarily have to invest in that right now, we can take a lot of that load off of your shoulders with our construction services team.
That's right, whether it's a repipe situation that's going on, as mentioned earlier, in a type of repipe aging infrastructure down in a mechanical room, old steam boilers, and there's a repipe project going on, we offer a scanning service. Is it a spooling going into your prefab? Is it an extension of your existing VDC or BIM team? Uponor has a menu of services both in a BIM offering and also in the construction services.
Right, so we have that. We have more information. We can post a link to that down below to our construction services page. You can kind of see the different menu of services like Marcus was alluding to. Some of that's for fee, some of it's free, depending upon what we're actually doing. But again, a lot of different things that we can help you with, whether it's just internally or whether it's us actually plugging and playing one of our employees onto your team temporarily to kind of help offset that workload.
That's right. And so we have a whole menu of services. So with a large team of industry experts, for that menu of services and offering we have, there's square foot budget estimation, material takeoff, piping material cost comparison, design development for radiant or mechanical or hydronic. There's loop layouts, piping size and load recommendations, system designs, and whether that we need to hand that over in a PDF, rivet, or a fabrication model as well. And so then there's a whole nother list too, along with our BIM services and what type of service we can offer with our team at Uponor.
Yeah, and the other cool thing about Uponor is we're material agnostic, right? So like when it comes to the BIM team, for example, we're not just going to model Uponor products, right? So it's not just Uponor pipe, Uponor PEX, or Uponor PPRCT. If you have obviously steel, copper, whatever it is, waste and vent systems, we can model that too. So it's a holistic group within Uponor that can model all those different systems within the building to kind of give you that one-stop solution.
So recapping what we talked about, we know that the VDC BIM requirements in the industry is growing. We understand that there are contractors that think the lift, the learning curve, the infrastructure is going to be too much to bid or go after these projects that have this requirement. But with Uponor, it's important to remember that we're all about productivity, not just through our PEX system and PPRCT system, but also in our services through our construction service team, our BIM coordination team. Really want to provide that best-in-class service and ultimately resulting in productivity increase.
Right, it's a holistic solution provider to make you more productive. Ultimately, that's our goal, right? So if you guys like this video, make sure to like and subscribe down below. If you have comments, you can also comment down below or email us. And if you have any suggestions for future episodes, obviously we welcome that as well. So thank you again for watching.
Thank you.